a lot of expectation. The Income Tax Act itself is a 63-year-old act, and there have been a lot of amendments which have been coming year on year. We are very excited to know that there is going to be an income tax bill which will come. Of course, we'll have to go through the bill once it is presented next week, and hopefully there will also be a kind of a stakeholder discussion to see, so that there is no adverse impact on any kind of a taxpayers. But this is very positive news that the government is doing a lot to reduce compliances, to reduce litigations, and make taxpayers making paying taxes and making compliances very easy. Another matter which the industry has been asking for a long time is rationalization of the TDS. We are seeing that there have been increase in certain thresholds, especially relating to the rent, which will again help a lot of which will help the smaller businesses to come out of the ambit of the TDS and TCS. One of another rationalization which they had made is relating to the TDS and TCS of purchase and sale of goods. This is again where Gcci has been actively pursuing, because there are a lot of conditions relating to turnover, relating to threshold limits, and there was and on the same transaction sometimes there used to be a TCS as well as a TDS which was deducted. It's a very welcome note to see that the TCS will be eliminated on these kind of things, which will really help in rationalizing the TDS and TCS provisions. Other than this, we are also seeing a lot of decriminalization provisions which are coming out, and we are also seeing the Jan Vishwas bill also which will be coming. So the industry had been asking for these kind of matters, be it relating to voluntary compliance, be it relating to giving a kind of a fair and a clear kind of a system for taxation. We are very happy to see a lot of positives in this budget. As far as the middle class is concerned, there was a growing demand that there has to be some kind of easing of the taxation, and having 12 lakhs as an amount where you do not have to pay taxes is really a welcome step. This is really going to bring a lot of money in the hands of the people, and this money is then going to be obviously going into the our economic cycle through consumption, and it's really going to help the economy as well. Overall, this has been a very good budget. We really welcome the budget, and Gcci looks forward to working with the central government and state government to see what are the kind of benefits that Goa can get, and how the Gcci can help to implement these kind of benefits. Thank you.
I now request Mr. Anirudh Dempo, President of Goa State Industries Association, to give his comment on the budget. Before that, requesting everyone to please join us for lunch before going. Lunch is already served.
Thank you, Sanjay. Good afternoon to everybody. Yes, it was thanks to Gcci for organizing this wonderful get-together for viewing and analyzing the budget. I think most of the detailed points are already discussed, but we must to start off compliment the government for actually exceeding expectations as far as the taxation on personal taxation goes. Over the last 10 years, this government has had a very prudent approach to the budget and fiscal management, even after shocks like COVID, and generally maintaining a positive primary deficit sort of budget until and up to the COVID. But this is the first time that they have, if there was one thing that was missing, was personal taxation, and actually personal tax in real terms had gone up in the last 10 years. And this is the first time that they have corrected it, and well corrected it. I think now if you see 2.5 lakhs in 2014 and 12 lakhs in 2024, by all measures, in real terms, they have given a boost to the people. Some things still remain, like double taxation on dividends that they have brought in. We hope that this new income tax regime will help in streamlining these sort of things. On the other side, on the spending side, I think there's a lot of maturity that we have seen in the kind of proposals that are coming in. They are not very populist in nature, but very strategic in nature. The focus on nuclear power, for example. If you look at a country like Germany that has suddenly collapsed in their power infrastructure because they completely cut down on their nuclear power stations. So realizing that you can't simply go wind and solar and you need to mix it with nuclear is something that is a very shrewd sort of strategic decision that has been taken, and it's a long-term decision. And I think that is one of the points that needed a sort of acknowledgement. Very good focus on critical social security, on insurance, on critical illnesses, to increase the general sort of those tail events or those, very negative events in lives of people that can cause a lot of hardships. So I think there has been a good sort of focus on that and on backward integration of the things, right? So we went into mobile first, phones first as simply just assembly, and now step by step they are opening it up towards others. So these are some of the, I think, good strategic moves, and we compliment them on that. Well, as a ask for going forward, I think the budget is 50 lakh crores, but the sum of all the announcements is less than 5 lakh crores probably. There's almost 30 to 40 lakh crores that's already done before they even start. And I think there needs to be a 10-20 year plan of how to reduce this revenue expenditure, and that's the elephant in the room. And I hope that going forward they can really get into reducing that, which will open up far more money for things that deserve money to be spent. Because by all angles, we do have a big elephant in terms of the size of our basic budget, and there has to be more talk on reducing that as well. But having said that, it's a fantastic budget within the limitations that are there, and in most aspects exceed expectations. Representing MSME industry, I think Rohan has touched upon it very deeply as to the kind of increasing limits and general access to credit and all the other parameters that have been already discussed. I think overall balanced and well done. Thank you.
Requesting Mr. Milind Shirodkar, Chairman of ICA.
So this is yet another budget with focus on development. The finance minister actually put focus on the 4 engines of the economic growth, that is agriculture, MSME, investment and export. As far as agriculture is concerned, more focus on making India an Atmanirbhar on oil and pulses. They have announced so many infrastructural proposals which will definitely increase the growth in the agricultural sector. The major focus, as Rohan said, is on the MSME. MSME, as it contributes to 36% of the manufacturing in India and approximately 45% of exports. They have put more focus on MSME as it is the main engine of the economy. The focus here will be also on scaling and making India a global toy hub. Also, there are many proposals of credit assistance to MSME. Urban Challenge Fund is another incentive which I think is going to put more pressure on the states to perform, because there will be a performance linked schemes for all the state level bodies to show their results and get more funds. On the front of the health, I think one important thing which I remember is about introduction of a district level daycare cancer centers, which is going to definitely help all the ailing patients across India. In all, the fiscal deficit with these proposals is expected to go down from 4.8 to 4.4%, which will definitely curtail the inflation, stabilize the interest rates, and maybe lead to more infrastructural expenditure. On the front of the taxation, as far as indirect taxation, there have been some rationalization as far as reducing the number of rates existing at the moment. However, as GST is controlled or rather regulated by the GST Council, the budget proposals do not normally focus more on the detailed aspects of the GST. As far as direct tax, I think the important point which Finance Minister said is trust first and scrutinize later. So they want to impose more trust in the assessees, which he mentioned that 99% of the return files have been self-assessed. And she also mentioned the success of the faceless assessment regime which we are currently enjoying. Another important point is about the new IT bill which is proposed to be placed on the table in the next week. So you all are eagerly waiting to see the changes in the income tax law in terms of the best practices followed in the world, so that we reduce, or they rather reduce, the complex interpretations of the Indian income tax which is aging. Come to the rationalization about voluntary compliance. The main highlights is about reducing or rather increasing the threshold limits for the senior citizens for the interest, because there are, especially in Goa, a lot of senior citizens have high deposits and the TDS is a major relief for them, as the limit of 50,000 has been raised to 75,000. Also, there are a lot of renting which is happening in Goa, I think across India, and that will also help because the basic exemption has been raised from 2.4 to 6 lakhs. TCS on LRS, their exemption limit has gone from 7 lakhs to 10 lakhs, that's also welcome. And also there are no TCS on the educational loan from the specified entities, which will definitely help the students to avail loans for foreign education. Another welcome step is to decriminalize the TCS defaults. 139U, that is the updated return. The extension, a person who has not filed the returns could now file the return for last 4 years. Earlier it was only 2 years, now they have increased it to 4 years. A small trust also will get the benefit of registration from 5 years to 10 years. Another individual taxation, I think, important feature is earlier we could only offer one house as a self-occupied property. Now it has raised to 2 houses, so that the individual do not have to offer the second house as a deemed income. There are so many other good decisions taken by the ministry for personal taxation. The major thing is increasing in the exemption limit and also the rebate up to 12 lakhs rupees, which, as Rohan said, is definitely going to be the star, I could say, the proposal in this budget. So we all welcome this budget. It's going to be definitely promoting the growth of the Indian economy. Although they had expected 8.2% in the last year, current proposals suggest, as per the economic survey, that it is going to be around 6.4 to 6.8%. And considering the global turmoil, I think that should be the better estimates. Thank you.
Mr. Kalpa Karnataka of Prerna Industries Association.
So first of all, we welcome this budget by our finance minister. Very well and all around economic growth concentrated budget this is. Being an industry person, I would like to highlight some of the indirect tax proposals which were, I feel, very good. First of all, rationalization of tariffs is one of the welcome things that the FI has done. 7 tariff rates which were existing have been removed. And now what remains are just 8 different type of tariff rates, which is a welcome thing. From the medical sector, a lot of exemptions have been given to the medicines and machines that are used in the manufacturing of these drugs, specified drugs. Textile industry again has been given benefit, wherein a lot of exemptions have been given on the machines used for manufacturing. Electronic manufacturing has been also given boost with components and parts being exempted from the basic custom duty, and whereas the finished goods have been, the import duties has been increased, so it will boost the domestic manufacturing. As far as exports are concerned, they have rationalized the voluntary compliance has been given the boost. They have, the electronic sector, as I have spoken already, the basic customs duty have been exempted. The inverted duty structure, which was another major issue, has been resolved in this budget, I guess. They have continued with the Vivad Se Vishwas scheme, and that will really help resolving a lot of taxation disputes. The EV batteries and solar cells, again, these have been given boost by the finance minister. So these are some of the indirect tax proposals which will really boost the domestic manufacturing, which I feel, wherein the import duties have been increased on the finished goods. However, on the parts and components, they have been exempted. From the direct tax perspective, yeah, very welcome proposal by the finance minister, wherein the slabs have been rationalized now, and there will be more income at the disposal of the common man, and this will boost the economy in this country. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Santosh Patel. He represents all Goa Taxpayers Association, so his input will be very important when it comes to income tax. Then we'll have Mr. Anwar Khan from Institute of Engineers.
They are having this session, which are very important. Today's budget is very excellent. So usually we see budget, hardly few people are satisfied, but here most of the people are satisfied because this is all development. Like as Pratma Madam done, Nitin Chaudhary and everyone has covered all the topic. So I am very blessed. They are with me to highlight on this. But to begin with all the important takeaway of this budget is MSME, all the great enhancement, then new startups, then women development, or the rural sector, then medical college for next 10 years, around 600 additional seats, and over a period of another 5 years, another 75,000 seats. Then broadband for students, then IIT from Patna, and street vendor upliftment of 30,000 units, and overall for farmers, all the sectors have been covered. So I am very thankful for this wonderful budget, and at the same time, there was some expectation on the part of the GST, but which has not come in this budget. So in budget we cannot satisfy everyone. As you all know, it's all depends on the GST concept, and based on that every frequent days GST notification coming out. So, but again, we were expecting something like reduction in the interest rate for GST for late payment or interest rate for delayed payment, and some amendment for some revision for GSTR 3B returns. Because what happens? Because government should have allowed 3B without payment of tax, because SSA himself declares his turnover, but sometimes because of shortage of fund, he cannot pay. But again, for which he has to bear late fees as well as interest. So it becomes a double taxation. So one side you are giving all the benefits to all the sectors, the other side some people are affected by this. So it should have been taken care of. And overall 12 lakhs exemption is very good. But again, it comes to condition. Earlier also up to 12 lakhs, in my opinion, 12 lakhs he was not paying any much of tax because of his deductions available to him, like housing loan 2 lakhs, then 1.5 lakhs about ATC, then another ATD, then again NPS, another 50,000. By all these, you are not paying any tax. Now also, but again, by increasing 12 lakhs, what I feel is more and more people will come into the tax bracket. More and more people will come into filing the returns, voluntary income tax. At the same time, it will enhance the revenue for GST. So because again, this is well planned, and in taking consideration of the honest taxpayers, the budget has been drawn, and it is in favor of middle class. And I am very thank you to Madam Nirmala Sithamji for giving such an excellent budget. So thank you very much. And again, we hope to see some things like some additional things in GST in coming days. So again, we have represented many a times. Even I have wrote a letter many a time regarding the because of some portal issues. Because portal, even after spending so much, I think 5,000 crores they spent, even after there are issues which are not never been taken care of. So because of which the SSC has to bear the loss. So again, overall it's a good budget, but again, you cannot satisfy everyone. So, but 90% will be satisfied with this budget. With this, I welcome this budget, and thank you very much.